And the program today, I just want to do a brief. And due to the urgency of matters, this is not something new, but it's kind of a new development um, in the operational matters of President Barrow and the people around him, and especially him going around with his campaign tour. I don't call it the Meet the Farmers tour; it's a campaign tour, and I think it's important for us to highlight certain things, and gradually, as we warm up, we will tackle most of the issues that arises from this campaign tour. And again, with the presentation of the annual estimated budget is more evidence of the conditions our people are in, and the continuous hardship our people are going to encounter, and the further evidence to where our country is and where we are heading to. And I think it will be interesting and it should be important for every Gambian, especially the leadership. If I say the leadership, I mean those opposition leaders and individuals or people that take position of leadership or seek position of leadership to take it more more urgently to deal with, to engage the people. We need to engage the people and educate them in order to bring about change, a meaningful change. And in this sense, the essence here is that we have seen the state, Barrow, and its people using the state resources, going around to misinform the people to the extent of we know they're spending so much of money with the misinformation minister, Dr. Sise, and the likes of Modu Sabali, who's not new to this, but we just have now realized that Modu Sabali would not even be bad compared to what we hear coming from someone like Dr. Sise. But again, it's just a confirmation of what we have known for a while now. And it's coming more clear, and it will be up to Gambians now to decide. That's why we need Gambians to reach to Gambians so that they can decide. They will have that information so that they can do their, take their decision well, and not based on decisions on any other thing, but on information that benefits them, so that they can do a change that will benefit them. And the evidence is quite clear, and I want to use two cases for now, for today, because they are not new, but there's another thing happening. When I posted, I said the Business Cartel Alliance between Barrow, with Barrow, using the state influence, to enrich themselves. Barrow is never interested, have never been interested in the state of the Gambia, have never interested in the state of the people. The only interest Barrow have with power or being the position of leadership as the president, as the executive, it's to use it to enrich himself and the people around him, for that matter, especially the Business Cartel. And I mentioned two surnames, I said Just and Jawara. They are not the only one. But what I am going to talk about today concerns Jas and Jawara. That's why I put those two surnames there. Now, what do I mean here? Ababakar Jawara. We're going to talk about the Sukuta forestry deforestation, which President Barrow have okayed, or his government have okayed. We're going to talk about that, and we all know that it's just for the sole benefit of President Barrow and Jawara and the people taking crumbs from Jawara, for that matter, especially from the media or people who present themselves as media personalities doing PR for Jawara. Now, the other one would be Amidou Ja of Ja Oil, with the cement embargo, the cement monopoly, the far-reaching consequences of that monopoly onto our people. That's another topic we're going to talk about. But because of the surname is Jah, and we are not going to forget about the Supreme Mohammed Jah, who we have seen with the evidence again in the budget. I can tell you, for the more vehicles, they're going to purchase most of those vehicles will be coming from Mohammed company again. I mean, this is what they do. We have already witnessed the looting of our coffers by buying those useless SUVs during the OIC summit for 2 days and later distributed among themselves. And still they wanted more SUVs to run around and burn petrol and incur cost of maintenance for nothing that benefits our people. But because of the procurement of vehicles is lucrative, I mean, in getting their kickbacks and making the businesses of their patrons like Mohammed Jah and TK Motors and others. And the other bit is petrol and maintenance cost too is a lucrative form of them enriching themselves. Now, Gambia, we are facing the worst time of memorable that we can remember, and it's not that things have been managed to try to get to get better, but even the Minister of Finance, who under his own responsibility have done this damage, or part of the people who did the damage from Mambo India to him have turned around to say that, look, we have overspent or we have overborrowed, and I can tell you there's nothing to show for it. We have not seen any spending in productive sectors where we expect, to have yield, to have more income to come without relying on taxation. He is relying on taxation. He is going to rely on grants. He wants to rely on more borrowing, and this is just going to be the disaster. And this have been what this government have been doing since they came into power. And you keep on doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome is quite the definition of stupidity or recklessness or selfish, because it does not impact on them directly. It impacts on the people, but they have no conscience. They care. They are just like convicted criminals. They only care for themselves, and they don't care about what happens to the people or eventually what will happen to our country, to our economy. The evidence that the executive and the people around the executive and the people that support the executive, and these are even people that supports the NPP, it's nothing but for their personal interests. And we have evidence of that. If we hear now Dr. Sise turning around with so much of, sounding like Baghdad Bob, the famous campaign, PR campaigner for Saddam Hussein, who exactly, I think, is the real definition of Dr. Sise, who have never believed in anything he has said, because he is living freely in Dubai right now after betraying Saddam, after saying all that, knowing that it was a lie. It's the same thing Dr. Sise is doing, and the other certified one, Modi Savali, is no point even referencing him now. He have been a graduate from different institutions for being a psychophan and just selfish and useless as a former so-called Secretary General or whatever title he have ever had, or whatever he called himself as an educated person. Now, the condition of the country is so there. We all know that jobs are not created, prices are going up, and education, it's not improving. The healthcare system is not improving. The environment now is just been disseminated, worse than ever we have witnessed. But again, the little assets we had before are just been mortgaged. We have seen the ports already mortgaged, the bridge been mortgaged. Gampel is kind of let to rot so that they can sell it cheap. Now it's just gone, just going down the drain, and next minute they will sell it cheap, and others. This is what we have. And unfortunately, we have witnessed this campaign going around, Barrow going around with his selective messaging, going to rural communities, giving them hope or telling them telling stories, and we all know it's not true. But that's why we need to tackle it. I mean, calling out development for I don't know what he think the development is. We all know what he termed as development that he said he did. If in 6 to 7 years he have borrowed far more than 52 years and want to turn around to say because he have built few roads and few bridges, and most of those bridges not even built by him or from government coffers, it's just sad to say that that's what he's comparing. He have not built any institution for that matter, or upgraded any institution, or made anything better. We have seen Gum Petroleum that he have inherited. Yes, Gum Petroleum owned by shareholders. Those shareholders are government entities. Gambia Ports Authority, Gambia Social Security, GNPC, and we have seen the cartel that he run with the wife from State House with the Russians and brokered that institution now, which is technically under mortgage now. We have seen all this evidence, and he called him calling out development. But we know that the human resource have not improved for better. The social capitals have not improved for better. In fact, he is furthermore dividing or being divisive on settling Gambians rather than creating a social mobility mechanism that will uplift Gambians and create a social cohesive society, which he have completely failed because for him it's not to his interest. And we have seen the evidence again, as we said. And when people cry out what the PIU have done at the university, I said, look, you don't expect the PIU to come after the opposition, PIU to come after other people, civil society or others that are out there, exercising their rights, and expect that they're going to spare the students or any other entity. This is what they are created for. This is the mindset the doctrine is put in them, that they are there as hired bullies, hired killers, or hired whatever you said. Since this coming of this government, we have seen the evidence, and we have seen the evidence of what have done during the last previous regime. And now it's not new, and it's going to continue. And these are the reasons why we are to stop and bring out the reforms that we talked about before, the security reforms, to bring about a country that is ruled by the rule of law and justice for all. Now, in the sense of things, let me just touch on the Barrow campaign. I don't call it a tour, presidential tour, a campaign. We heard about him talking about hospitals, which we all know it's not true. Barrow have gone to the rural communities. That's why I said we need to educate our people, saying that Gambia hospitals, technically alluding to, and in fact, people might say that, saying that it's as better or better than the United Kingdom or America, and it's better in the sub-region, and people are coming from far to use our healthcare services, which is completely untrue. And the fact is here that we have a budget which was $40 million, and now someone said it's $60 million, estimate for the senior civil servants, and I can tell you it will be far more than that. The reason we have that is for the treatment outside of the country. That's one evidence of proving that the president have not told us something that's not true. Two, the president himself recently went to Morocco, and part of his trip to Morocco was for medical attention. And whenever he is to leave the country to any other advanced country or developed country, they do arrangements so that he will have his medical checkup carried out. That's a fact. The president's wife goes to Turkey and goes to any other country, just as the president, as when they need medical attention, but not in the Gambia. They only attend if probably it's an emergency. And this is the reason why he wants a clinic fit for purpose within the State House, so that they can meet to their in ill health and the privileges that they think they deserved. And the other evidence is the president's brother, Bully. The only reason I'm talking about the family, because he have said something nationally untrue, which have to be proven to be untrue, and then it need to be talked about. It's not that we knew about these things now. We knew before. We are all related one way or the other, or we know each other one way or the other. Bully have, quite recently came back from India because of he goes there for treatment. And the mother have gone to Turkey probably twice for treatment. And recently the mother was at the Royal, Edward Francis Small Hospital because of emergency. They could not just have rushed out. I'm not sure whether she's evacuated or not. But when she came back from Morocco, she went to visit the mother at the Royal, Edward Francis Small Hospital. We know the other members of families he paid for to go out for medical attention, which is then another point of evidence that's not true. But thirdly, we all know as Gambians, we always hear about our obituary. If it's not our relative, someone we know, and the obituary will say that, oh, the person passed away in Dakar. The only reason these people pass away in Dakar, it's not that they went to Dakar for holiday or they were on transit in Dakar and they happened to die. No, because of they had to go to Dakar for medical, and some of these people left it too late or whatever it is, they could not make it and their bodies would be repatriated. And evidence, and matter of fact, you go to Dakar, you go to certain hospitals, frequently you meet Gambians we all know, or we have know our family members we have supported, to travel to Dakar. Now it would be either Dakar, Turkey, or India. Almost every other Gambian will tell you that they know of someone that have gone to Turkey, India, or Dakar for medical attention. And we all know that Gambians within the Gambia who can afford or can even attempt to would first choice of call would not be the public hospital, would be the private hospitals until they don't have any other option that they had to go to the referral hospitals. They would have to go there. But if they have the means, they will be airlifted and taken out of the country. These are the facts. And due to what? Because of this mismanagement of our resources. It's not that we don't have the resources. We have the evidence again that the COVID reports have proven that we have enough resources. But not only that, the recent audit reports which the president is failing to act on, where doctors have been accusing each other, which warranted an audit report, emergency audit report, and he failed to act because of that he is protecting certain people who had done favors or have acted unlawfully in order to facilitate his corruption. People like the Minister of Health, Samate. In the COVID report, we all know what happened, how they used our money and looted that money, and those reports are out there from the audit office itself. These are all facts that we don't have a good health care system, and we all know because we have families attending these things. It's not the medication. It's not the facilities itself. I am not criticizing doctors. I'm not criticizing nurses. I am criticizing the management. I'm criticizing the government for their lack of support, their lack of resources, and taking care of people that they meant to do. We have, many Gambians. Most of doctors and nurses are dedicated and doing their best for the little they've been given without the motivations or the support that they require. And to the extent of, we know it's a frequent thing now that the Edward Francis Small Hospital will go without water for days. Operations will be stopped because of there's no water. To the extent of the fire service will be using their tanks to deliver water, and we know there's no filtration system or treatment system that water would gonna go and then putting patients and clinicians at risk. We know of that fact. We know of that fact that operations have stopped during the course of operations or whatever due to what NAWEC have gone out and the generators could not keep up with operations. But interesting that the Edward Francis Small Hospital is next to the State House, but state have never gone out of power or out of lack of water supplies. That just tells you the priorities. That's it's deliberate and they don't care. That's why. This is why now he wants his own medical clinic within the state house because he have put himself in a cage in a sense that he doesn't know when to go, how to go, until Gambians will have to push him out. That's where he is now. This is why it's important for us to be focused and look at things and look at the national interest and deal with it as it is. I mean, moving away from the medical campaign, he said, which is all not true, which we need to attack and prove these evidences of it. Yes, he have built many facilities, but we know what happens to those facilities. If you cannot maintain what you have, if you introduce new, it's not going to be better. Common sense will tell us that. Not the existing hospitals, not the existing other medical centers that are operating well with the required support or facilities been equipped, to do the job. Now, building new ones doesn't do better. And again, let's point this out. It's easy to go and borrow. Again, it's because out of borrowing or getting someone to intervene to build. But our problem is to maintain facilities and operate. Maintain and operate facilities, that's where the problems are. It's easy to borrow the money and build. And we know the cost of these procurement deals and building is only motivated, again, for the kickbacks. They come out from there. We come about the same thing about roads. In many places, they have put roads where are needed, but we all know the failure of this campaign or this road development. Now they are just talking about still working on the OIC road, something that, when you have a project that you cannot even measure when it's going to finish, tells you it have already failed. Nothing that's measured can be, delivered efficiently. And we all know the amount of money. Actually, we don't even know anymore until we have an update. But what was originally costed for those roads and what it was costed for have not been met. We have a road network system without a drainage system. And let me emphasize again, if I said a drainage system, I'm not saying few gutter lines would put here and there. A drainage system means a system that collects water, that transport water, and that deposits water where it's not going to hinder the general public per se. That did not exist with this road network. We know that the penetration, people crossing points have not been put there. So much what was meant to be costed, already been paid for, it have not been delivered. Why? We all know it's just due to corruption. To the extent of they can't even have their road signage right. If engineers fail to even have their road signage right, tells you the problem with the project. Because as engineers, they design something from concept to delivery. And if the delivery fails, they'll tell you then from the initiation of the concept, interception of the concept, then that's where the failure have happened. We are witnessing all this. And even the projected $50 million, which was almost $1 million a kilometer, which is standard in many cases, have been overshoot. We don't even know how much now. The last time, some were speculating 75 million or not, we don't know. And still, the quality of roads, or the design that have been paid for, is not being delivered. And these are the major roads network, 50 kilometers within the urban area, which was to be delivered under the OIC project. It will completely fail. Now, we know of the rural roads projects. Most of these roads have been political. You see, if we say they are political or whatever, people think that, oh, you guys are from urban areas. Look, we are all from rural Gambia. It depends. We can see it in many ways, but we are all from rural Gambia. What we are talking about is here, the strategic development. We don't say that roads are not necessary there or they are not needed or people living there should not have roads. But when you develop strategically. You have to make sure it's efficient. You have to make sure it's sustainable. And in this case, because of you want to win over a community, you went on and built a road, and the road costs so much. But there are no economic activities. There are no other ways that the road will be useful. Been used to the extent of that the money worth would be realized one way or the other. Instead, it's just that you have borrowed domestically. Most of roads are domestic borrowing in order to build those roads for political scoring. When other roads could have been prioritized, built, and the economic activities on that road would pay for all the road to be built without need of taking loans. These are the kind of ideas we are talking of sustainability. But we know that these considerations are not given when these roads are to be developed. They are all meant of, for one thing, is political. The other thing is actually the kickbacks. None of these roads built. Because especially being domestic borrowing without any external partners that would have an overseeing authority or overseeing responsibility on the discharge or the delivery of the project, they will not do it better. And we know that's why Hardim guys and others are given these contracts, and we all know that what it's all about. Now, if Barrow turned around to celebrate these rules, I can tell you, him and his patrons, Pittsburgh Ford and others that give him bribes and kickbacks, the ones celebrating. But down the line, Gambians are going to pay so much on interest and other things, and because of the poor decision, it's going to affect our economy in so much that we could have done better with those loans. When he come about talking about agriculture, we know that we don't even have an agricultural policy. It's matter of whatever suggested, whatever come around from donor or whatever agencies we call, that's what is going on. This government have never delivered a trade season of even groundnuts, only groundnuts. You see, and most people, when we talk about agriculture, we just jump onto groundnuts. We don't have a policy. That we follow or directive that is telling us that this is where we are going to go with this. It's no sustainable policy of what food self-sufficiency, which should not even be our aspirations. All nations now are looking at food sovereignty, which is achievable. It is achievable. We have the land, we have the water, and the resources are there if they are managed well, or the partnership or the ideas are there to create it, but that's not their interest. This is where we talk about, even they don't talk about agriculture. How can they take agriculture seriously if the agriculture minister is just a political hack that is recognized for his contribution on a divisive political campaign during the elections? That's all the expertise he would have. That's all the qualification he has, but zero. Understanding on to heading that ministry, but because they don't care, it's matter of political consideration and compensation. This is the reason. There's no other cash crop. There's no food crops. There's nothing strategic. Yes, business people are coming here. Jawara will be coming here. Someone else will be coming here doing this. But I can tell you, by end of the day, some individuals might realize profit in the short term, but probably even the long term, it will not, because of it's difficult. It need far more than just initial investments or having cash flow coming from somewhere to make agriculture development successful. It's have a long time. It must have a long term strategy and enabling environment to support. The private individuals, which we welcome, but again the population itself to take part, farmers to be supported to take part in creating wealth for the country and creating the food we need. For survival. These are things that we expect, but they would not happen. Now, just to show another failure And when I talked about the marketing of even groundnuts is poor. Last year we had this, but this year we have not had it yet. That let nobody sell outside the country. That's what they said last year. What happened? They could not. They said they were not doing a credit buying. They went on doing a credit buying to the extent of we have seen the evidence of people going to the secos collecting their products because of they were not paid on time. Now they're desperate. They have to find alternative buyers. We have seen that, and we have seen people that have left their products with the state end up staying for longer. I don't know if all of them have been paid now. That's how bad it was. And the prices are bad and still bad. And the same government turned around this time around to say, oh, we are going to maintain the same price after all the inflation that occurred. And they know that the yield is going to go down. And this is technically globally. It's affecting Nigeria, it's affecting Senegal, it's going to affect Gambia because of probably rain patterns or other things. It's going to affect the groundnut harvest. But we all know for a fact where and the prices are bad and still bad. And the same government turned around this time around to say, oh, we are going to maintain the same price after all the inflation that occurred. And they know that the yield is going to go down. And this is technically globally. It's affecting Nigeria, it's affecting Senegal, it's going to affect Gambia because of probably rain patterns or other things. It's going to affect the groundnut harvest. But we all know for a fact where demand is high, prices should go up. Then the government is likely to have better price because of there's a high demand need for the product. Then why are they not passing the savings to the farmers? Why are they not passing the savings for the farmers? We all know for a fact the corruption on fertilizer starts from the president and the people around him. They start the corruption by importation, by the price, the kickbacks and importation of fertilizer, and it trickled down to the most senior people before it get down to the farmers. Technically, there's not enough fertilizer to go around. We don't even talk about seeds. The seeds for plowing and stuff like that, or the support for mechanized farming and so on. It's technically poor or non-existent. This is the failure they have. Comparative to Senegal, a new administration that came in within 6 months have in fact declared that a single seed of medicine should not be exported out of the jurisdiction of the country. But within 6 months, they have supported the company responsible in processing the groundnuts to process the entire groundnut so that only the finished products would be sold to outside. Now, if Senegal would not allow the Chinese traders and others to come to Senegal to buy the seeds, then Gambia groundnut demand would be going up again. That's another measure, another area to look at, that prices should be going up for our farmers. I hope our farmers have the mechanism or the means to hold on to the groundnuts and look for people paying the premium and sell their groundnuts because they will need every penny. Because inflation is not going to go down, it's going to go up. Prices will be even going up far more. And let Gambians remember, prices in the provinces always are higher than in the urban area because of the transportation cost for goods and services. This has always been a fact with prices on cement and others. And this is why farmers, which are predominantly living in rural communities, should always be supported and subsidized. And the word subsidized come to me. I have come across that the Dr. Sise was at Mimikering and apparently said that, oh, UK doesn't subsidize farmers as Gambia. This would be two things. Either doctor is ignorant or either doctor is a liar. It's only two. Because the fact is, Britain is one of the countries that subsidize their farmers like nothing. if he doesn't know, and he have lived in the UK as a political science student, and lived in Scotland, where subsidies are even higher because of the need. If he doesn't know, then he's a very ignorant person. Two, if he knows and turned around to say it doesn't happen, then he's a liar. Either way, this is the person we have asked the disinformation, not even disinformation minister. UK subsidies come in many ways, and even used to be in two types. There was one EU subsidy that was national subsidy, and subsidy comes in many forms in the UK here. One is tax exempt. Inheritance tax was exempted on UK farmers, and now, because of the new government have imposed inheritance tax on farmers, they are ready to strike, and opposing the government policy. But even land that are not being used, some at times they would be subsidized not to use their land, not to farm on that land for many reasons, for biodiversity, because at that time or that area they need the wild grass or whatever it is for bees and other things to thrive within that environment. They paid not to farm. At times, it's just to able to show that the price stabilization can happen. Because if not, they will overproduce. There are so many. This is the reason the subsidy is the only reason milk is cheaper in the UK than bottle of water. When you can have water from the tap cheaper, but I can tell you, you'll be surprised to look at the cost of milk and almost every other thing that are consumed within the UK and produced within the UK in agriculture, there's a form of subsidy to do it. That just shows you the disinformation that they do, to our people. But again, if we move away from agriculture, we come to the youths. It's so sad. Sad that I had the other guy, how to call it, Sabali, talking about that, the government have created that youths can go and work in Spain, glorifying it as one of the best policies one can ever produce, and which is one of the laziest and a policy that still they cannot even deliver. We all seen the cock-up to the extent of their counterparts who come and ratify it, because they straight away jump on their corruption. And the president's nephew himself taking part in taking money from poor Gambians, selling them something that they don't even know what the value would be. They don't even know the value. You ask them, if these people go to Spain, how much they're going to be paid? How much of that money will be cost of living? How much that money will be taxed? How much of money will be that? They don't know that. They don't have that fact. They don't give you that fact. They cannot tell you if or when. If and or when it happens, how long these people gonna stay in Sweden? In Sweden, in Spain, seasonal. Seasonal, is it 3 months? Seasonal, is it 6 months? Within 6 months, how much savings would they realize? If someone paid 60,000, which they should not pay. But if they will not pay anything, if they go there for 60, the expectations are not even been managed because they are not being given the right information. They just come out with the policy or taken to Spain, and people will be thinking, oh, are we going to Spain to work in the farms? I'll have this much. They'll be disappointed. They'll be disappointed. It doesn't work like that. Already there are South Americans coming to Spain. It's been going on for a long time. That comes in seasonally and going and coming and going and whatever it is. It's not lucrative as we think it is. And it's not an easy job to make something out of. I'm not saying that it's not a good thing to do, but the expectations need to be managed. But In fact, a government should have done far better than this. We have the resources. I keep on saying this. It's only a lazy government that keep on thinking the way we think. We have the resources. We have. If you see the looting they're doing in every level, to the local government level, tells you that if those monies were invested, and let me give an example. If someone loots $1 million, that person will have looted far more than $1 million. Imagine that $1 million was invested. Or because of they loot $1 million, we had to go and borrow. How many interest we are going to pay for that $1 million being looted? Now imagine the looting at GRA, the looting at NAWEC, the looting at every ministry, every department, the looting at the local government level, the looting at the parastatals, every other looting that's going on uncontrolled. If it was controlled, the looting at the Ports Authority. They're owning properties in Dakar, Turkey, England, Canada, America, and everywhere else. They are. You think all that money is being invested? How much do you think we're going to get? We have them. Not only about the money we as resources, but the ideas we should have. If we have invested in education and the right type of education for the youths and see what, the human resource, the environment that human resource is going to be. There are so many policies that we could have, done if it was not for the selfishness or for the incompetence of government. To harness the diaspora capitals. So many capitals within the diaspora. We haven't seen any policy that harness the diaspora capital. Apart from their useless central bank going around trying to look for money from the diaspora to build a toll road, which I can tell you, if any diaspora put their penny in it, it's something that you will regret. You rather put it in shares and stocks wherever you are the diaspora than put it in a project that you don't know how it's going to end up with. Don't trust this government for anything. If they can go around and embezzle social security with the pensioners on the ground watching their pensions being embezzled, and you think your investment will be safe, who is the guarantor of that? These people guarantee for anything? Have they ever told you anything that's true? Have they ever delivered anything for you? One sector have they delivered? None. And you want to put your investment in them? Just for the central bank governor going around, or these governors going around looking for that money, tells you that, we have a problem. Where's the private sector to lead it? What do they have to do with, looking for investment? Let them create an environment and leave for private sector to look for investment. But, you see, they have not done anything. We look at the budget. What did they do with it? Recurrent spending, operations. President's office, all this nonsense, for travel, for conference, so there was nothing for the youths to access jobs. Look at what they've done to tourism. That extra tax they put on tourism, and the tax, have you seen the tax on, coming onto your budget? And we still have a member of parliament, passing that budget to go through. Ask yourself where's the black sand or whatever they're mining and where is it in the budget? All that could have created jobs for youths. All that could have trained youths. I've given an example. Which companies are paying other companies to look for people to work, but because of the qualification they ask for. Saudi Arabia, UAE, so many other countries, electricians, a different form of technicians. And our youths could have been taught in our universities, in our colleges, but no, they went and created so-called 5 universities when one cannot even be maintained, sustained. What 5 universities? What that says about it? Or because of, to say, oh, Barrow have 5 universities. Each of the faculties could have been a faculty in the University of the Gambia, a population of 3 million. But to say I have 5 universities, what for 5? Now they are going around creating 5 different governing councils. This is where the money is going to go. Where's going to be the money for research, money for all that stuff? When the main university cannot even be prepared. The curriculum is not fit for purpose because most people are going for courses just to have the qualifications. Most of them are not prepared. I'm not criticizing the students. Look at our secondary school exit results. Science, technology, maths. If you're not prepared at that level, how can you access it? This is all the failings we have. That's why the youth cannot be employed. And obviously, there's need for attitudinal change. There's need for everything, but all that part of leadership. That's why the thought of continuing the set of Ministry of Youth and Sports is just madness. If your aspirations are not big, how can you bring about change? How can you change a mindset with those sort of aspirations, seeing youths and sports as, yeah, the thing. Sports is a very important venture. We are not even doing it well. We cannot have a national stadium being delivered, but even other stadiums, not only the one others, let me say this very clear, many people are mixing things. GFA have stadiums that they should have delivered, they have not delivered them under the FIFA Goal project or whatever you call them. But the Minister of Youth and Sports have been putting levies on telecoms. Go and look at what they call their mini stadiums or whatever it is. They have not been delivered. That tells you then there's a problem with that ministry. But the importance of youths, not only the largest populations, but that's where the growth value should come from. Why can't we have a dedicated youth ministry? Innovation, skills, training, entrepreneurship, voluntary services. This is it. The point about voluntary services, that's where you can work with all the civil societies or these things too. Voluntary services to help re-educate the youth, reorientate them. Scouts, Girl Guides, let's call it many other things there are. And many other things that can come out of it. Environmental groups and everything else would have been supported through the youth ministry. Skills centers and stuff like that. Higher education can deal with something else. This portion of skill training should be under the Ministry of Youth and Employment. Then it can easily be managed at that level and a proper fitting ministry. But if they have a so-called youth, or someone so-called youth they think would be popular with the youths, they put it as a youth minister. Not about the capacity of that person. Now, whenever they do their recycling and the permanent secretary they don't want, they send them to the youth ministry. Check that out. That's always been the case. That's always been the case. They've never taken that the ministry seriously. And this is what we have now. But development in the not cells that Barrow is talking about, we talked about it. It's just full. It's a lie. The development itself. That's why you don't hear. How can a country be going on a development trajectory without a program? Do you hear again about the National Development Program? You don't hear it because it's non-existent. It's non-existent. It was for donor conference. They can live to expectation. They do what they want. And this is the fact now. We have lost almost every asset we have before inherited in the previous governments. Parastatals, we lost. Gamta, we lost. Gum Petroleum is useless. NAWEC is worse today than ever with all the injections of, financial injections we put in there, with the tariff being raised for 35% or more. It's worse today than ever. Now we are even dependent on external, generation. When we only had internal generation, we were doing better than now having two entities, Senelec and Capo. And we were, I don't know how much we owe them now. Owing Capo almost $10 million US dollars, owing Senelec $15 million US dollars, $25 million US dollars. And that was about, because I think the payment period is about 45 days or something like that. That's for about 2 months or 3 months of payments. That's how much we fail as in development. What have we? Tourism is not doing better. Most of the bulk of what they said tourism, I can tell you, look at the numbers from now on, because of what the diaspora that they will never acknowledge. That's where the bulk of tourism is coming from now. Which they don't acknowledge, and still they have not harnessed that. It could have been far more. Any serious country would have by now run a national airline based on the reviews they do, or the things would connect if they have connected well with the diaspora and putting enabling these things. Gambians will be motivated more to travel more to the Gambia. But now Gambians, at least which is a good thing now, even have started to looking far. To have other experiences rather than just to go back home. Now we go back home matter of service, but not for holidays. Because we have a project or something that we need to deal with, we have to go there. But we are not going there for holidays, but because it's just painful going to see how our people live, or how the country is been governed. These are proof of what that country is, and this debunks everything that Barrow have put in his talk. But again, let's come to, as I said, this jar oil cement segment. I'm not going to talk about the other Mohammed Jar vehicles. We know about those things. But when we talked about the jar oil and two personalities, I want Gambians to think about this. Where was Jar Oil in 2016 and where was Ababakar Jawara 2016? 2016, both of these people supported Yahya Jammeh. I can tell you that. They campaigned for Yahya Jammeh, they supported Yahya Jammeh. They are not denying. At least Ababakar Jawara came out in an interview saying, "Oh, Yalong intol Mansador ne Fasa," or support whatever it is. Probably he did not use the word Fasa. He said that. The entire family, his Kabudu and Kabilo and everything went on. And that's why you look at the results, where they came from, you see the difference. Today, they are the so-called supporters of Barrow. And apart from the few UDP guys you see around Barrow, I can tell you almost every other person you see about Barrow did not support him in 2016 coalition elections. The Shehu Balos and others, they have not. This is what we have. Even Modou Sabally was in prison. I can tell you, he wished them a hard one. But I'm not talking about that where they are. Look at the wealth they had at that time compared to now. And I can tell you the fact about it is because of not an environment created alone on fair environment. If environments created should be for every potential investor or Gambian to have a fair share of the yields or the potentials within that environment. These are selective, which using the influence of the state to enable. This is why they are where they are today. In the case of Jawara, and I'll say this again, and the evidence is there, and I am waiting for a competent government to come and do this investigation. As it went on, Barrow, I tell you it's from the impasse. People like us know that Barrow was motivated by money, and people from different walk of life coming to start to capture him. That's why we started from the impasse to warn of, say that be careful, guys. And the evidence is out there for us to see, and that's why he is that wealthy today. from everything that he accumulated, his family accumulated. The entire, within this period, Barrow, Barrow's sister, Barrow's brother, Barrow's two nephews, not even more than two nephews, Barrow's wives, Barrow's cousins, they are all millionaires within this period of time. Just as what Macky Sall created with his wife the time they were in power. They are all millionaires. Not because of their talent, not because of anything else. Because of the selective empowerment they had under this administration. Now, we look at this fact here with Jawara. As we said, the cement monopoly is nothing. Jawara is not manufacturing cement. Then there's no manufacturing company in the Gambia. They are rebagging cement. It's the same, and it's even worse because of what happens is the cement they get there from as a powdered form, transported, rebag it, it lost the strength than cement that is directly from the manufacturing this thing to a bag, sealed and delivered. Now, why this preferable treatment? Giving him the treatment, or because of his this thing? He's not doing far more in tax-wise. If relatively to the people importing cement, he's not employing or feeding the economy better than those. It's because of Barrow benefits from every penny that Jawara makes. How this thing works? In 2019, around 2019, not exact, the Gum Petroleum Depot had shares owned by Mohamed Bassi. Those shares were sanctioned by the Janneh Commission, end of the Janneh Commission, 2019-2020. 2019-2020. I think the sanction was 2019 during the Janneh Commission, but probably during the transaction started, before it finished, probably 2020, before 2021 elections anyway, 2020. Now, these shares were recommended for government to seize it and sell it because of the looting that Bassi did in the management of Gum Petroleum. Those shares, when they were looted, recommendations were made for those shares to be sold to the existing shareholders, which was Social Security, Gambia Ports Authority, or GNPC, or all of them taking the shares. Barrow intervened to say no. To be sold to a Mauritanian Senegalese company, a family from the side of part of Mauritania and Senegal. He sold this, I forgot the name of the company. He sold them these things, and that's where the kickback came from, for Barrow to invest into Jawara. Jawara would deny it as a silent partner. At the same time, that was when the first lady, Fatimata Barrow, became a shareholder of the board member of Jawara. These are the only two reasons people become board members. Either they have shares or they have experience, their knowledge and experience of operations of that company. These are the only two. And one, he doesn't have the knowledge, experience to run a company or anything that Jawara was doing. But if only she had shares, or the family had shares, silence or whatever it is with Jawara. And from there on, you have seen the expansion of Jawara. Not only petrol station, but almost every commodity. Now again, if you go and look at the banks in the Gambia, you will not find that financial injection, because no company will take that financial injection from any of this amount of injection from private banks in the Gambia, because the exchange rates are stupid. You do it, you'll be out of business. That's why I said, if any forensic auditing of Jawara will prove, and he will have to explain where the injection came from, of finance came from, to expand Jawara. Now, this is part of what they're doing now. They're going to agriculture, they're taking land, they're doing everything else. And yes, it's good that they invested in the Gambia. That's a good thing. But again, majority of they investing because they are looting us. Now, this is how, again, Barrow created, and that controversy now is so confusion about the 50 million, which from Badia came in segments and every kind of thing. We know why he was, again, given priority to that loan. Government deliberately structured it in a way that Jawara would profit more. But more again, now the cement. In order to create a monopoly to make so much money for Jawara, they try to say that, oh, Jawara is producing cement. He's not producing cement. We don't have the quarries where we go and mine cement and process cement. We don't have that. What they have is a rebarking facility. It's a fact. Rebarking is not manufacturing. Now, it's very evident now that we see this all the time. We see the cement coming to the Gambia from Turkey, from Spain, and other countries. But cement from Senegal, so, or because of it, we are trying to support industry. What industry? Many Gambians, I can tell you, young Gambians I know. Some in the diaspora here. Some supported their family from the diaspora. They took loans from Gambian banks to help buy trucks and get into this trade. But now, something has just occurred now. Now, due to the congestion at the main ports, Jawara now is given preferable treatment again. Gambians in the diaspora, Gambians somewhere else, importing from China, importing from other areas in containers, trying to make a living, trying to build businesses, have become the victims again. But who else are the victims? The general public, because they pass the cost. Yes, some of these importers might be direct victims in a sense. They might even end up losing their businesses because of who Jawara and Barrow, not the interest of the Gambian people. Because of the delays, whenever Jawara have his big shipments of cement, imagine the merchant ships have to go away for Jawara to offload. Every day it takes extra, it costs these importers, some importing goods from the UK, America, or anywhere else, China, or where, Singapore, anywhere else. Their goods will be sitting, waiting, not cleared. And cost is going up. And as the cost goes up, what happens? They will have to recoup that to make a decent profit or a bit of a profit or to sustain their business. And who pay for that extra? The consumer, the Gambian. Because of who? Jawara. The entire monopoly, it's not for national development, not for benefit the Gambia itself. No. Now we tend to have certain cement. The quality of cement is questionable, and prices are bound to be going up. And they will justify because it's a monopoly. Where there's a monopoly, then there's no competition. This is a fact. This is happening right now. People are there. I just put a post about that. People telling me, oh, we have our stuff for 3 months. A Gambian guy yesterday contacted me about this. Said that, look, he has people's stuff who are going to business on holidays right now. They're pestering him. And look, this is because of Jawara. He cannot clear his stuff for these people coming on holidays to get their stuff. And he promised them it's going to happen. Yes, the ship have already come and docked to the Gambia, but now have to go back to the high seas in order for Jawara to be delivered. Because of what? Preferable treatment, the influence that they have on government. Yes, because it's the same Jawara again. These are the people giving the money to NPP to build the offices and do their bribery, paying these things and keeping it. This is what they're creating for Gambians. So that as for them, and they can continue to fool. When there's campaign, they buy the rice, they buy the oil, they buy this, and go and fool our people. That's why we should take interest in this. It's not for any particular political party, but it's for the interest of Gambians to take interest in this kind of practice. This is what is killing our economy. You see, it's killing our economy in the sense that, one person is going and the others are not. But again, if ships are coming to the Gambia and spending more time in the Gambia. What cost is they put their cost of coming to the Gambia. If you want to send something to the Gambia, the cost will go up because of shipment is like flights. The turnaround is very important. The quicker they come move from one A, B, and C, they can go back and A, 1, B, and C and make money. The profit margins are not that huge. But again, we are going to lose at the other end of the economy. I tell you what, people like Jawara will tell you, I'm paying this much tax, but they are still not paying the required tax. They will never pay the required tax. Big businesses, and it's not unique to Africa, even here. Big businesses will always look for a way to legitimize. At times, might even say, oh, it's legitimate, but it's immoral way of avoiding to pay their fair share of tax. But the small businesses will always enjoy in paying those taxes. But again, the other way we lose is if our ports are congested, people are frustrated. Senegal is building another port in Funjun. Senegal is building another port in, they already started that one again, in Casamance, North Zigansor. Soon Gambians will just turn around. It's already happening. People are going to Port of Dakar, but you know, Zigansor is closer, and they don't need to cross any ferry. People will just be sending their stuff to Zigansor and taking it to Fonyi, coming here to Combo, taking it to Kiang, to Badibu, wherever, or Basse, and even to Mali, or anywhere. Because this is the country we create. Don't forget that we have already mortgaged our port again to the Turkish because of what the kickback they give. The likes of Sidin guys have been given properties in Turkey. The likes of the first ladies have properties in Turkey. I am not sure about the managing director, but he have got his kickback, Jawara and others. He's already got a property in Canada, provided he doesn't want a property in Turkey. These things are going on. This is what we have. That's why I said the influence. Now let's come to the last one. Sukuta. I think it's the Salagi forest, Sukuta forest. Can we just believe? Again, as I said, look at the background of this story. Ababakar Jawara was a nobody. I have shared the letter in 2017 March or June also, when he lobbied to be appointed a goodwill ambassador in Guangzhou, China, when he was hustling there. Go and find out what he was doing there. Nothing. He doesn't owe any businesses there. He was just lobbying, trying to get something done. By that time, he had already lobbied Jammeh by giving second-hand vehicles in order to be given that property in Sukuta, Astafullah, around Lamin, so-called tomato factory. Where is the tomato factory? Again, that's not a factory. It's just a rebargain. It's just a rebargain facility. It's nothing sophisticated. It's just a rebargain, bringing, God knows what quality of tomato just to be put in bags or containers, whatever. That's all it was. Where is it now? That land, I think it was even later confiscated by Jammeh until this government came, and even 2016 he supported Jammeh. He campaigned for Jammeh, entire community supported Jammeh, but he negotiated and they gave him back that property. Government gave him that property. Now, that person did not. Go and find out. From there on, go and look for yourself. What can you see that, oh, that was Ababakar Jawara's. But the minute this government came, started opening doors, what did they give him first? Our sand mining, mineral mining, processing. They have no expertise, nothing, absolutely. We just had gutch. And next minute is weapon importation. And now, because of he have even been given certificate to the police, building their police stations, now we don't, and God now, we don't know what he brings in the country. We don't know what he brings in the country. But this person, not only we give him our, he's destroying our environment because he's not even doing it properly. He's not reclaiming back the land or doing whatever it is. He's making money out of that, doing whatever he wants, buying religious leaders, buying so-called influencers, buying medias, and giving him PR and everywhere else, buying accolades all over the world. To be seen, oh, this is the most philanthropic. It's nonsense. Building mosques and all the kind of things when you are looting us. Now, what happened? Sukuta, Salagi Forest. And again, the Gambian mentality, this is not about Sukutans. I don't know, it's called Sukutans or Sukutarians. It's not against Sukutarians. This is about our country. And this is about global, actually. Climate change and every other thing. And I'm in a forum where people, experts have talked about this. Don't realize that that forest actually serves as a sort of capturing water or helping to replenish our reservoir, the water that we drink. That's why the water tanks are around there in Sukuta and areas and so on. It's that forest help with that. By destroying that forest, the rainwater and other things it does, I mean, it's been exposed. Our water would be exposed. And because of the amount of boreholes we digging all over the Gambia now, especially in the urban areas, our sewage will be going through our water. There are so many. I'm not an expert. I didn't have time to have a look at all these things or to keep the notes, but I can tell you it's an environmental disaster. We all know that vegetation serves a lot. It's not just for beauty or anything, but for the biodiversity. As I said to you here, they are paying communities to keep these things, for biodiversity. Encouraging. We all know during the First Republic, and to be fair enough, in fact, within Jammeh time, accolades have been won for community foresting. We have, the campaign for forest rebuilding, or wherever it is. We have seen the First Republic, the Kabab Fita Forest, the Nyambai Forest, the forest in Kafuta, the forest in Kiang, forest almost everywhere around, every other region been supported, been managed by the Germans, by the Cyprus, and all that is supported, building things, using it sustainably, and so on and so forth. Encouraging a lot of community participations, and so on and so forth. This government just disregards. Now that place, you remember they talked about Abuko. We just saying, oh, they told us, no, it's not Abuko. We're talking about, they lie. They will sell everything. They don't care. They don't care. Every bit of land they will take and care. And because they perceive that the Ghanaians will not do anything about this. Let's go on and do it. We can have more money. We can build more properties. We can buy more properties outside. Ahmad Ba and others. That's what they do. You see, this is social. And for who? For Ababakar Jawara to use as a depot. This is the severest crimes that you can ever think of. So, to store Bashar. Now, due to Senegal putting embargo to use their Bashar, instead of seeing it as an opportunity to open an industry, invite Gambians to strategize, to do something very logical, sustainable, identify areas and whatever it is, the mechanism, whatever needed, so that we can get Basel from different things, so that we're sustainable, cost effective, and everything else. No. Again, an opportunity have been identified. Or let's find our businessman, Ababakar Jawara. Come, we give you this forest. Go, take that. And he took that. Now somebody else going to take something else. Somebody else going to take something else. The damage to the environment. And the more powerful these people come, they prop up Barrow. They'll prop up Barrow. That's all they do. And they don't care. They don't care. Because they will always go out, do their PR, to go give to mosque, give to influencers, give to journalists, give to other people, buy accolades and say, oh, he does a lot for people. When people are dying because of his stealing their money and damaging their environment, Ramadan will come, he will give and say, hey, he helps people. Nonsense. He's a criminal. He's no better than a criminal, a certified criminal for that matter. You see, but this is what we have. We have seen people associated with him, supporting him, promoting him. And this is what they do. And do you know what's interesting here? I said it. You see, Barrow, Barrow at times will pretend. I'm not saying that he's a smart person. I can tell you because smart people don't behave the way he does. But he's a corny person. You know, some people who are smart for doing bad things. He is smart for his thinking that he's smart when he was really damaging himself and damaging people. He's wicked. Now, what he does is, do you know why he put the niece as environmental minister? I've said this many times because it's very relevant here. I'll repeat it. Why John Manyang is Barrow's niece. And part of the last forming of cabinet, he was thinking of putting her as vice president. She was under consideration. Do you know why environmental minister? For these reasons. Just recently, they went to the environmental summit. And in most cases, there's a lot of pledge. And there's a lot of money that comes in. That's one area. That's why he puts her there as environment. He have no qualification, no experience that matters. So many Gambians to lead that ministry. That's one. Two, the prime land, especially in the Congo's, prime land. You need to demarcate the register, the forest, and all those things. She's there to do it. This is what Barrow does. Now we have seen the damage, we have seen everything happen in Suwareh, but it will continue because of Barrow will feel that I'll get away with it. If he feels he get away with something, he will continue. You know, this have brought us where we are today. And it's sad that it's not a condition we could not change. I always say something about us Gambians. I know when I say, people think, oh, I'm just saying these things also. No, look, Gambians are one of the most sophisticated people we have. I'm not going to say Africans, people. And if you go through our course of our history, we have done a lot as a small nation to prove that. A lot. And another thing is that our representation in the international community by a share of merit in everything. If you look at the private sector in the international community, and where the most challenging environment in the US, in Washington, in New York, in England, in Germany, in Austria, in Japan, I tell you, Gambian experts in Japan. I mean, in Saudi Arabia, in Kenya, in Uganda, in South Africa, in Dakar, let's go. I'm talking on the private sector, in banking, in science, technology, and other forms. If it comes to world governance, the UN and others, if it comes to other international appointments, by merit, I'm not talking about ambassadors being appointed by governments. We are there. And go and find out from our history, our population size, from history to now, how comes we are this much represented? That's why at times you meet someone and say, oh, Gambian, and they talk about, oh, this is how much we are. They cannot. Oh, I thought you guys, everywhere else, go to universities in the world, the best. I mean, lecturers. I mean, we are everywhere. That's a sign of our sophistication. We are a small nation. You see, we have gone through attaining independence. I know people say, oh, it's not independence, this is. But again, if you understand what we went through, I mean, look, there's a shared amount of negotiation, sophistications, maneuvering and everything else in order to attain that. We should not just throw it away. We should credit our forefathers for what they have achieved to keep us as a sovereign nation. The question of our independence, oh, how independent we are, whatever it is, but the identity of a Gambian is our failure now. We are failing on that, and we've been failing on that for from the late 70s to what brought us 1981, to what brought us 1994, to what kept us in the 22 years of dictatorship. But it's the same Gambians that in the history of mankind have changed or have uprooted a dictator without ending in a civil war. And yes, don't credit the presence of economic. It's first for achievement before economic. If it was for economic, we would still have been in the dictatorship. Because for 22 years we were in the dictatorship when economic was in existence, the UN was in existence, and every other country was in existence. The dictator managed to manipulate and kept and did every brutality and whatever it takes. And acceptance for the international community, for that matter. Be invited to the White House and taking the poll at the United Nations. We have seen all that. What I'm talking about is bringing it to a level, to the attention that the international community, with their hypocrisy and everything, cannot look the other way. And I can tell you, yeah, it could have been roughed, but in their absence too, it would have happened. In their absence too, it could have happened. If you deny that, then you don't know our history. If you deny that, you don't know our history. But again, this is why it's important, because if we get to a level, we see the desperation of Barrow and what he does. You know, if I know some people say, oh yeah, things get more difficult, change will come. There's an amount of fact in that. But things get difficult too. It's an opportunity for Barrow as well. Because that's the way to loot more and entice few to go and do his evil work. Divisive. And this is what they're working on. You see, I'll tell you one thing. Generally, populations are all the same. If in the United Kingdom today, Nigel Farage can be relevant, if today in the US, the government that's coming to power is going into power, and it's the same US that voted for a black president, tells you what it takes is what strategy you apply to govern or win over. Trump won over because he was effective in his campaign. Pastef won over because they were effective. It's not that Senegalese are different. And people keep on saying, oh, Senegalese are different. That's not true. Invite me on any table. Probably some of us knew Senegal from a distance. Most of us, we are interrelated, not only because we are interrelated. Through our career, we had to work as intelligence to understand them, to understand their governance, to understand their operations and everything. But not that because of social science students, we are always interested. And we do anything to educate ourselves to find out. To 2 years ago, having to go in there to even understand the political, social and political challenges and these things. And when we analyze and have written, it's still on Open Gambia page, on Pastef, and what was going to come out. They come out of Pastef, people thought I was mad because I went there, I've seen. It's this leadership. Yes. Charisma of Usman and this thing, but it was the leadership. That's why today they are where they are. And Gambia can produce the same leadership. It's a matter of wanting to do it and preparing to do it and get up and do it. That's the leadership that we need to bring about this change in the Gambia without destabilizing our country. You know what I know? Change will come. I cannot tell you when it's going to come. I cannot tell you how it's going to happen, but I can tell you what scenarios that are likely. Why I cannot determine it? Because it's not for me to do. I just have a role to play, but it's for governments to do. Probably part of the little I add might be, come up to create a critical or part of the critical part of ideas coming together and making it happen, just as it happened in 2016. But it's up to governments. I know governments don't do it. This is what I'm saying. Because you see the craziness. Now, you see Barrow bringing in Dr. Sise and turning Dr. Sise or exposing Dr. Sise for who he is. People are surprised. Oh, no, don't be surprised. That's who he is. If probably you don't know before, now benefit of hindsight, go and look, find out his background. You know why he would sell to anybody for himself. That's a fact. Now, is that doctor saying that people in the diaspora, no, they don't have good jobs, they don't have jobs? Again, that's betrays, that's exposes ignorance. As an intellectual, he doesn't know what a job is. What's the importance of jobs? What jobs more? He cannot philosophize to understand jobs. You have to bring jobs as someone. This is just so sad for so-called intellectual. For so-called intellectual, we cannot even see the need, understand the rights of people, sharing their views. How ridiculous it is. Hence, they are not offending, even to offend people to an extent they can. To an extent, you can offend people. That's what views are. Because you are not in charge of people's feelings. Something that might offend me might not offend the next person. The only thing is when it gets to physical harm that we can measure. And, but hence you betrayed. And this guy will say anything to that. But it's easy because it's a person who's been saying all the other things that are contrary, but his consistencies are not necessary in politics or whatever, or other way he said it. And people like this are so many, there will be so many. But they are not the majority. They are still part of the minority. The problem is the other people who have what it takes and sat on their hands. Or other people who have what it takes but did not take time to focus.
sa brain bi ubbeeku sa xel bi ubbeeku nga xam lu yàlla wax nga xam lu àdduna wax si lan mooy démocratie si lan mooy yóbbu réew kanam yow nga ne political science la def yow ñaata at nga toog di oppose government ñaata at nga toog di oppose government buy benn at wala ñaari at sax danga ko def te li nga doon wax yëpp daf la ñoroon jamono boobu ndi xamoon nga ne li ngay wax dëgg la tey nga ñëw nga ne lépp loo waxoon si jamono boobu danga koy wuccu nga maraat ko Ismaila yaay jaam Ismaila yaa bon si xeet yaa bon si sa askan yaa bon si doom yaa bon Ismaila Cissé lu ma wax rek dama ko xeet parce que Ismaila Cissé dañ ñu betta pare da nga nekk di stick sa neck bi out yow Barrow di mark my words Barrow dina la destroy ba pare sànni la si xaj yow Ismaila Cissé yow da nga destroy ba pare yow mënuloo yàq diaspora bi yow li diaspora bi def li diaspora bi def mënuloo ko xamuloo ko xalaatuloo ko li diaspora bi di liggéey fi nekk nii jamono bii yow loolu moo la teyoon bi nga fi nekkee yow da nga nekk si diaspora bi ñaata at musuloo mun a tekki si diaspora bi yow xam nga li may wax bu baax nga enu sa bagage nga mootee ñibbi Afrika ñibbi Gambia moto bu baax sa mënuloo ko sa moto bi toujours mu si fi tey yow ñëpp ko xam moo tax
killing them would have been something else.
mu unfair si askan
probably he would have been killed.
xam nga su fekkee ne koo xam ne jàngut la koo xam ne xamut lu bari la koo xam ne tukkiwut la xelam bi eewul butam bi eewul mu ñëw taxaw comme Massi Duusaano yi kooku kenn du leen faale ñun sabarkat leen kenn du leen faale ngeen baal ma si wax ji pour ñi sabar waaye kooku amul droit amul xam-xam si politique pour mu wax ko mu saf kenn
You think they label
su bëggee lu saf na dem mu sabar nit loolu la xam te nit ki li nga xam loolu nga war a def waaye yow da nga xam yow nga ne political science nga jànga
dollar did not work. It's worked
yow
in Senegal
Ismaila
more
Cissé
than anywhere else. The entire media
yow xam nga remittance su diaspora bi di dugal foofu si biir Gambia
we saw the Zananza, we saw
800 million.
In fact, allowing Malaysians
to ñëw nii most likely $1 billion dina dugal si remittance si biir dëkk boobu noonu si
that's happened in Senegal. And you
ñu
tell
xamul
me,
ne
oh,
social
Senegal is
Ismaila
different
Cissé
from us.
Europe ñoo xam social
What difference is the
te
leadership
Europe
that
ñi xam
we follow?
social
This is
jigéen ñi suñ duggee es wala góor ñi suñ duggee es si dëkk bi dañoo xam social waaye buñ demee ba nga xam ne fu nekk jàng ne li ñu war a jàng duñu xamante social waaye yow si social nga nekkoon ba nga fa jógee loolu moo tax nga foog ne ñu nekk si diaspora bi social lañ nekk ñun duñ la wax suñu am fu mu toll déedéet su la neexee nga ne dañuy téye science suba ba ngoon di ut si mbedd bi waaye ñi nga xam ne ñu ngi toog Gambia di déglu lu diaspora bi di wax ak social media bi li ñoo wax suñ ko dégloo dinañ xam ne ñii xam ne lu ñuy wax ñii ay fenkat lañ ñii amuñ benn crédibilité ndax am nañ ko dinañ ko xam parce que wax boo ko dégloo di nga xam ku koy wax ndax xam na li muy wax ndax xamul li muy wax yow ki déglu sa wax dina xam ne li ngay wax gëmuloo si dara di barki di moo jaay nga fi wax leneen tey nga ñëw di wax lii
thought in that sense, in fact, as humanity, that my life now was not of no use, but dying here now today would liberate the rest.
Ismaila Cissé,
You know,
Ismaila Cissé yaa wicked si sa askan.
you have to really inspire.
yow yaa gën a xam ne Barrow mënut a yóbbu réew mi kanam te yow yaa gën a xam corruption bi dem si biir dëkk bi foofu noonu yow yaa gën a xam nit ñi seen dunda naka la métti si biir dëkk bi foofu noonu yow xam nga loolu yëpp
anti-establishment candidate. No.
tey nga ñëw taxaw takku ba dëgër mais yow da ngaa dëgëral Barrow ak nguuri Barrow képp ku ànd ak yow te ngeen jàng ngeen xam lan mooy démocratie lan mooy yóbbu réew kanam lan mooy good governance yéen ñëpp itam da ngeen toll yéen ak askan bi dañ leen jàppi yéen Gambia gave you everything but you are giving nothing to Gambia dafa am ñu deeyoon dafa am ñu xeexoon waxuma sax ñoom solo seen lañ de waxuma time Yaya Jammeh de déedéet depuis time Jawara
did they give ownership? Actually, many
depuis time Mami
people today who are diehard supporters
ñi xeexoon pour jox ñu independence
exactly, they cannot
joxuñ la lii
articulate to convince him. What they tell you, they'll go
joxuñ leen lii
straight away go to
yéen ñu
my
taxaw di
party.
jàppale Adama
Yeah, I
Barrow
know my party.
joxuñ leen woon
Oh, no,
lii
my party. But they cannot just keep the conversation in policy.
ñooñu dañ xeexoon the unthinkable la gars yi defoon
What Pasteur did was create that
fekk seen xam-xam sax màccut woon bariwutoon
cascaded and
parce que éducation yi àdduna bi tolluwutoon foofu waaye xamoon nañ lan mooy àq ak yelleefi askan ak réew pour mu jëm kanam ak lan la doom war a defar réewam pour réew bi jëm kanam
people from
yow ngay doom bu góor tey nga waroon a toog su xale Gambia yàlla may la nga jàng xam am xam-xam nga waroon a toog su xale Gambia yéen ngeen da ngeen suuf Gambia
they were snobbery on
da ngeen di def tout da ngeen def everything pour Gambia gën a suuxu pour yéen seen selfish interest pour yéen ngeen benefit pour yéen ngeen tedda ngeen am
but when they started see the real
du mën a tontu si waxi koco-koco yi waxi koco-koco yi ñun am nañ ndax amuñ liggéeyuñ ndax liggéeyuñ loolu duñ la si tontu suñ la si tontoo sax fekk ñu ñàkk xam suñ bopp ku xamul boppam mooy toog di jéem a prouver waaye ñun dañ xam suñ boppam ba mat soo ñu amul pour prouve la yow suñ bopp si yow wala anybody nii duñ ko loolu des na suñ diggante ak yàlla des na suñ diggante ak yàlla waaye li ma la bëgg a xamal mooy yow doo doom bu baax Ismaila Cissé yow gàcce nga yow gàcce nga
you brought our
si
petrol
doom bu
for
góor
us.
Ismaila Cissé
Because of what? Sonko was the one who brought the camels back on this petrol thing.
Yo,
Everyone
tey,
was kind of silent, so
sa papa
not
li ñu
listening.
wax si moom
But he
bu
went
fekkoon ne
and
mu ngi
proved
dunda ba
us.
tey billahi wallahi tallahi mu conscience mu aware and he was mu gis yow ni nga doxalee tey dina kàtta sa loxo bi teg la benn place
But the petrol was the start.
Ne la eman.
Young men now, now, I mean,
Adama Barrow mun naa
affiliated the
yàq
petrol
Ismaila
to some.
Cissé
But
su la ko sa
Senegal
xarit
started
waxul
to hear
sa
names
parents
of
si sa
mineral
famille
resources.
kenn waxul la ko
They
si
never knew
ñun dinañ la ko wax bàyyi sa xel
knew even it was processed.
Adama Barrow lu bon mun nañoo wax ne jàngut
and they're telling us we have all this.
toogul si ban university
This is the way
xamul lu bari
this is how much it's going to bring.
te nekkul ne ku jàngul rek xamul déedéet
impact on your life.
suñ parents yi am na ñu bari ñoo xam ne jàngut te xam ne ñu bari parce que tukki nañ ubbi nañ seen xel yi ak seen xol waaye léeg-léeg ñàkk xam am xam-xam yàlla moo koy nattu nit Adama Barrow nag si ñooñu la bokk amul xam-xam xamul lu bari
all these things
dof la dafay ubbi gémmiñam bi rek
all these things and recover all this
ñu ne nag
even all that
pour njiite ñu
bring about this change.
waaye yow Ismaila Ceesay
and people took it
da nga
and they
jàng
start going on.
duma toog because yow li nga def métti nañu ñu toog di la fenal déedéet da nga jànga
went and put their money where their mouth
duma la fenal da nga jànga xaw ma nag am nga PhD na amuloo ko boobu xaw ma si dara waaye am nga basic education
he won them over
comprehension
give them hope
am nga ko te yow xam nga ne li nga wax yëpp ay fen
thinking about. If you start studying, not just to Adama Barrow, just to running on campaign on Adama Barrow, no. Not just to be quiet within our decisions. No, we need to broaden the base, get to the areas that you not be. But again, the message and the message.
du ñuy dégg social sax
Certain messages
duñ koy dégg yow li la métti ñun teguñ la ko nga nekk si Europe bépp màgget mënuloo teg loolu du suñu problème teguñ la ko mënoon ngaa gore nga continuer toog di liggéey yàlla mënoon na lay ubbi sa buntu parce que sax amoon nga position xaw ma cay na xaw ma waaye doo gor te gor nekkul si deret si jikko la doo gor
if you believe in
doo
something
gor Ismaila Ceesay
this is what the political
parce que li ngay wax yëpp xam nga ko
make or a task to see that
diaspora bi
their
nag
executive and
su
people
leen neexee ñu tontu la si ndax ñu ngi liggéey ndax liggéeyuñ waaye man daf ma leer ne képp ku toog dee taxaw di wax si Gambia government di wax si Gambia
and wherever it
sa réew moo la ñor
your local plant are working
parce que Gambia gave us everything man tey li ma doon Gambia moo ko def su ma jógee woon Burkina Faso wala ma jógee Ghana peut-être du ma doon ku ma doon tey xadi noonu tukulóor noonu maam yi sa noonu keneen ak keneen noonu
but there's a reason I looked at this thing
ni ko liñ am tey peut-être duñ ko am mais bi duñ ko am waaye Gambia moo ñu ko jox time yi Jawara
and do you know look at the numbers in the Jolof
ba ñuy jàng ñu discipline ñu wax ñu lan mooy àdduna loolu Jawara ñoom ñoo sabablu système boobu ñun bañ nañ ko bañ ñëwee fii di dem college maa ngi am high school benn semestre laa dem Saint Augustine benn semestre li ñoo jàngale yëpp sax xaw ma ko bi ko suma xel bi mu ngi si génn dem waaye bi ma ñëwee fii dem college lépp luñ doon wax du daan jar sama story a plus rek parce que lan la loolu yëpp dama ko jàng Muslim high school laa ko jàngee woon Muslim high school loolu yëpp jàngal lañ ma ko pare bi ma ñëwee si college bi fii waaye léegi laajal ñi am doom soo ñëwee fii di dee xew sa doom bi da nga am pour delloowaat ko
commotions was
parce que
happening
éducation
in
système bi
Dakar.
baaxut barki dee moo njaay la xale yi def exam
and the elections
0.229%.
those small inroads
ñoo
made
am
the
pass-pass bu
difference.
baax loolu yéeyuloo si
They would have
yàppiwuloo
won, but they could not have won decisively. Not
Adama
to go
Barrow
to second term.
ministres yi ñu ngi foofu
Those
kenn délivre
inroads they have in Fouta,
yéen yéen a
those
gën a
inroads
xam ne
they had in
Adama Barrow ak ay ñooñam ñu fa nekk yëpp kenn mënut a yóbbu Gambia kanam Gambia demul kanam poussé wu sa bay dem kanam yéen ñëpp xam ngeen loolu
those inroads they have in Tamba,
lii moo
those
ma
inroads
métti
they
si
have.
Gambia
This
mais
is
ñun
what
ñëpp xam nañ
made
lii
up the difference.
waaye ñun ñëpp ñu ngi toog di ko seetaan
We have to understand the importance, the influence of
te ñun
numbers.
ñu toog di seetaan lii yëpp Gambia joxut ñu lii suñu maam yi bàyyiwuñ fa lii
But that,
si kaw ba si suuf nag suñu maam yi bàyyiwuñ ñu woon lii
that 10% where it comes.
ñeneen ñu dem
Without that,
taxaw
Pastef.
ñu rey
And
leen
this is what the,
pour Gambia
when
ñu
people doing the
am ñu
calculus, they
Gambia
thought,
ñu ne
they can
changes
make
leen bugga
35, they can make 40, they can make 45, they cannot,
ñooñu
I
duñu
mean,
waat
go past the 50. This
waaye ba
is
léegi
what
Gambia
all
ñu ngi
commentators
nelaw
were saying. But
ñu ne
Pastef
duñ
knew what
eew
what
dañuy
they
bàyyi dëkk bi mu continuer di xalaku dëkk bi mu continuer di suuf
They didn't say it
dëkk bi mu
loud.
continuer di métti nit ñi di sofa
That's why people say, oh,
Healthcare
Barrow can
amut,
only be winning by
education
coalition.
amut,
It's true.
poverty
It's
bi mu
easier
ngi
to be won
rise.
by coalition. But I can tell you that if you have the
fundamental si
right,
courant
you
bu
can
rek
win
sax
Barrow.
nit mënu koy am soo bàyyi leen nit bés between
kind of a no
5 hours ba 4 hours dina leen courant dem na fukki yoon ak juróom ñëwaat si diggante bi
People would come alive. That's what Pastef did.
te grants yaa ngee dugg si biir réew mi wax nañ ko fi almost $500 million
thinking that I have to hold back.
$444 million. Dugana si grant.
The influence
to
of
electricity. Now
they realize that you are
the project is 95% of the project
into their numbers.
More than $444 million.
This is something that will bring them
wallahi, tallahi, liñ fa binda moy 2025 moy projection date.
I think we can do that politics. I prefer to see an orderly change.
Imagine the
I want to see a democratic
project
change in the Gambia.
1,000 schools. ñu ne dañ wara am electricity non-stop dañ ko wara am sufficient electricity.
About an orderly change.
100 hospitals dañ wara am electricity.
You see,
yëpp ay grants la ay xaalis la tubaab yi may ñu ko west bi may ñu ko
progresses. It's going to put pressure.
I don't care lan mooy loopholes si grant war a amee fu mu war a jaar yëpp moo tax ba léegi askan bi nekkoon di gis
they can never
results yi like are you kidding me?
Now you see I'll come to that. They will.
xaalis
Now
boobu
if
yëpp dugg si
it
biir dëkk bi
continues with this progress, government people see what is happening in
gis
Senegal.
development
It's matter of their way.
ñii toppa Adama Barrow
But
ubbi
this
seen
Gambia
gémmiñ fu nekk ñu ne
government
fa
will be more
salaamaaleykum
disciplined
di fa
because
fen
Barrow knows what will happen.
ñi ñaa ngi wax 50 million ñi naan 30 million pour meet the people toobi fan ngeen gis benn nit mu taxaw wax ne man lii lañ soxla lii mooy suñ problème meeting boobu noonu yëpp.
That's why they're recruiting more for
buñ tentee nit ñi ñëw toog jàkkaarloog Adama Barrow ndax jox nañ mic bi nit ñi ñuy wax for 3, 4, 5 hours Adama Barrow ñëw toog jox benn one speech boo xam ne 10 minutes la ne thank you Anin Bara ala baraka dégg naa seen wax suñ delloo si State House bi dinañ leen lijjanti amut
we work together to do that.
amut. And when you say meet the people's talk, it's not a campaign about Adama Barrow, government and NPP. No, it's about you, Adama Barrow. Ngay déglu askan bi pour ñu wax la lan mooy seen bébé lan mooy seen problème si biir dëkk bi nga yóbbu loolu noonu ngeen dellu ngeen seet naka ngeen a def ak seen ministre yi waaye loolu.
The other part we have to look at is Bissau. Bissau is going down.
loolu nekkul di am.
And I don't see them putting the brakes.
So lan mooy ndey bàyyi ngeen jël alal boobu yëpp di ko yàqal tey nit di people store képp koo ooyoon tey nga ne ko yéen 50 million bii
negative into our population mix.
ndax ñu jox leen ko ñu jàppale leen si tracteur ñu jàppale leen si engrais
tension going up.
ñu jàppale leen si dépense ñu buildal affordable housing ndax loolu mooy gën si yéen ndax ñu def ko bi dañ leen wax ne defal leen leen loolu wala suñu health care bi kon lan mooy njëriñ yéen ngeen jël nit ñi seen taxe ñoo fay ngeen jël ko ne yéen a ngay dem mit leen ba pare yéen ngeen a jël xaalis boobu noonu di ko kasaara di ko yàq.
Nigeria succumb to any kind of crisis. Gambia, we are going to feel that because ECOWAS backbone will be broken.
Gambia yëpp ñu toog di leen seetaan.
Thank God, Ghana is kind of forging up.
Gambia war nañoo bàyyi suñu xel.
Either way, will be a
man waxatuma sax Adama Barrow ak ay ñoñam ak ñu bon ñi mu àndal parce que ñooñu seen intérêt leen xam ñooñu seen intérêt lañ nekk ay toppam yow Ismaila Cissé li nga wax dégg nañ ko lu tax nga dem ànd ak Adama Barrow parce que ñii lekk si moom gënuñ la yow da ngay dem lekk waaye yow it xamal ne loppaloo lekka dina la yàq ba ilaa yow mi diini yow Ismaila Cissé dina la toppa ba si sa njaboot continuer parce que yow si fen ngay liggéey yow lépp loo xam ne mu ngi dem on si dëkk boobu noonu te warul yow yaa ngi koy jéem a dëggal loolu fen la te yow xam nga ne ba nga nekkoon ministre loolu ku la ko isil tegal la ko di nga ne lii warul parce que yow sa audio yi mu fi ak sa vidéo yi mu fi waaye tey yow yëpp ngay dëggal
let's walk and
kon yow xaalis riba ngay lekka
through our process of working together.
yow loolu ngay dundale sa njaboot bi si fen nga dëkk di loolu ngay dundale sa njaboot bi
human rights
yow sa dara lewut fi nekk ni
we identify ourselves.
yow nga toogoon Europe di jaay sum-sum bañ wax sax xama sum-sum xam ngeen fi may waxee nga dem toogoon di jaay loolu sax foog naa moo gënoon li ngay def ni parce que bii di whole dëkk axa boobu moo lay topp boo demee nga jaay yu bon yi nga daan jaay fële si liñ wax loolu xëy na fiw nit ngaa yàq seen life te loolu sax dafa bon waaye fi mu nekk whole dëkk moom nga jël di fenal nga ne yow loolu dina la jig nga ne yow loolu di nga si barke nga ne yow loolu di nga si tekki nañ dem benn yàlla moo fi am saabali démba gis nañ ko mu mel ni jéegi kanaara mu toog di wax
I know when
naan
I remember
foog naa vidéo bu njëkk a play audio music la woon naan emancipate yourself from mental slavery yow Sabally yow da nga war a déglu loolu music boobu da nga ko war a déglu bu baax
I started advocate about it and even a friend of mine
da nga war a toog nga dégluwaat music boobu music yi fi nekk di war a xel bari na yow yaay slave biñ taka yow dañ la bàyyi woon nga dem ba nga tekki comme Harriet Tubman su àndee slave yi ñu dem ba si biti si ron railways yi ñu daw delluwaat yow yaay toog ndi yow da nga nekkoon si yaay jame jógee fa nga dem si UDP donte waruñ la woon a jël sax ñu eewi la nga dawati dem léegi nga ne yow da ngay ànd ak nit ñi yóbbu leen pour nga dofloo leen waaye yow xale yi nga doon ee démb ñooñu nga bugg a nelawaat waaye loolu du mën a possible xale yooyu dañ eewu ba pare
we have the National Intelligence Agency, we have the National Agency, we have the National Financial Intelligence Agency, we have so many ways. Advisors and everything for him. If he's surrounded by crooks and everything he did not know, still.
How can you tell me that?
Because they think that they can create an environment.
National debt $1 billion. Gambia, grant. Justify this. $1 billion. Jël nañ ko ci national debt bi. Yokk nañ ko ci. Bala leen ñu ngeen share yéen ñu duga yéen ñu mujjee duga yi maa ngi leen a gis yéen ñu bari ngi duga ngir yàlla yéen bi share leen ma ñëw ubbi ci line bi.
And I said to someone before, how dare they? I said, the cartels. I said, wherever a cartel loses their consignment, you will see the physical response to that. That's how the cartel operates. I said, you might confiscate it, you might put certain people in prison, but no. Go and find out from me. Why do you think Yaya Jammeh released all the cartel members he had? No, if he did not do it, his case would have been challenging. We've been challenging. Once it involves so your neck to them, what do you think happened in Haiti? Why do you think the Guinea-Bissau president is struggling to be stabilized?
Not educated.
You don't involve the cartel in your country. They will have to win. In order to win them, it takes a lot. Go and find out how it happened in El Salvador. This is the thing. I was advocating and
that's what they are banking.
Their wealth is in our government, their wealth is in our businesses, their wealth is almost everywhere, and now they control and they have corrupted the entire system. It's a challenge now to overcome. And now there are many different levels of mirroring the capital. Now you have Gambians exporting from water even to the Gambians, consumers in the Gambia. It's getting worse. The skunk is coming from UK. The skunk is coming from America. And the other various of skunk going even to entice younger people or women. Yeah, ladies, younger ladies. It's getting worse. Go and look at our mental institutions. Go and look at our streets. Go and look at the behavior of young people. Go and look at the crime rate. This is what is going to happen. And it's all, yes, started from January. We haven't opened Barrow. The only way to change this, as I said, not the Barrow. We need to do something. And finally, just saying that I forgot to point out. Example is
collectively ñun ñu taxaw gars yi dañoo delloo suñu dëkk bi bàyyi force ñoom xam nañ loolu traite boobu lañ gis nag traite boobu lañ xam moo tax Barrow mu jaral ko mu gis ku mel ni Ismaïla Cissé mu gis ku mel ni Sabally mu gis ku mel ni Jité mu gis ku mel ni keneen ak keneen ak keneen déggu leen ma ñu taxawoon saaga ko ñu taxawoon xas ko mu jaral leen mu isi waat leen because li mu bëgg moo bari li mu bëgg moo rëy mooy dafa bëgg continuer di dëgëral boppam ci biir dëkk boobu noonu
opposition won because of what? Not because the government have not worked hard. But the opposition
ma wax leen exemple bi démba wala barki démba bi xale yi jóge
and convince the people that influence them in the balance. Just as I gave example of,
ci TikTok bi
we see in the countries like America, Trump winning in Africa, all that opposition are winning because that's the reason winning. Why do we say we cannot win in Gambia?
yéen ak seen pañe yi fu nekk ngeen dem toog every single day ñu ñëw
jàppale yóbbu leen
it was a long one. I wanted to stop
it needed to deliberate that much. And again, it's been a while, took some time off, just came back. We'll try
university bi jógee ngeen yëg ko yéen jigéen ñi soo leen jógoon taxaw si marché bi
to engage
yéen ñëpp ngeen taxawandoor yuuxandoor waxandoor
change, a peaceful change,
dem si tali bi
if not
man maa leen ko wax billahi wallahi tallahi balaa next ñu trouver solution ñu tal leen solution pour seen bagage yi pour ngeen toog ngeen jaay ko